Alright guys, so here we go. We logged in and I'm gonna walk you guys through before I have to pick up this nerve. It's very important. You guys always have to gather the stuff. You can make all kind of cool things in it. I mean, a beta, I skipped a lot of things, but I'm really a sucker for gathering all these things and craft because this game has just a fantastic crafting style, crafting system. It's really awesome. So let's go ahead and walk through the Archer of the Sun build. I think I should trademark that if it hasn't been trademarked. But let's go ahead and walk through. And here it is. We still have 3 skill points. We haven't decided where to put it yet. So I'm gonna try to make it as quick as I can at level 25. Like I said, I reset the skill points and attributes at level 16 and also at level 21. So but it actually kind of synchronized out as you gain experience. You know, you get you get weapon experience as well and skill experience. So here we go. The Adric staff. What I'm using the puncturing sweep and biting javelin. In Dawn's Rat, I'm using the solar disturbance, which is kind of morphed from the Nova, which is the fantastic ability. I think it costs a lot, but it's really a good ability. And using Dark Flare. Dark Flare was just an attempt to check it. Not currently have it socketed any of the action bars, but it's a really good ability. It's useful. Restoring Light. I use the Breath of Light and the Restoring Aura. Restoring Aura is extremely awesome for an archer. It's check this out. Just go ahead and read what it does and think about what the archer, how the archer is played. The archer is using stamina a lot, and of course you want to be alive, so you need health. So when slaughtered, increase the stamina and health regeneration by 15%. So you get an increased stam and health regeneration. That's really good for an archer. Now when you activate it, the health and stamina regeneration of nearby allies by additional 80% for 7 seconds. You're in the middle of the fight and you just buff your group with 80% health and stamina regeneration. Like, there's a lot of fights we did in the dungeons where you had to run from the boss because you get one-shotted otherwise, and you really need stamina for that. And when you just boost your group for 8 seconds with 80% regen, that's really good. Let me show you guys. Like, when you press it, it's not even that mana consuming. Like, you see, it regenerates really you know, you can use it a lot of times. It's not an expensive skill. So, extremely good for an archer. Now, this is what we did just from the class. So, the weapon, I had to decide what weapon do I want to do, because I didn't like the idea to have a melee weapon or this weapon and then swap it and have another line of weapons, because I felt at level 25 I didn't have enough skill points to accomplish that. I didn't have enough skill points to have all the passive abilities that I need for my main weapon and have all this class stuff and the armor stuff just the way I like it, and have another weapon, spend points on another weapon. It can be done. It's not impossible, but I just didn't feel comfortable doing that. So we got basically everything from, we got the Venom Arrow, which is interrupt spells, stunning the caster, putting them off balance. Cool stuff, right? The Arrow Barrage, what I used is the one that increases the distance. I'm going to be playing a lot of PvP and Siege Warfare, and that extra distance that you get with this kind of the morph, or this branch of the morphing, is really good for that. The other one would be the fire barrage. I don't know how they call it, but that would put it would light the arrows on fire and kind of make an area of effect. So it's pretty good, but it's a short distance. I didn't like that. I like the long distance one. Arrow spray, it's really good for AoE, and I'm going to talk about AoE and single target, how it's working out. So an armor, I just went medium armor. because I felt I wanted to do hybrids. I did try like a hybrid, like couple of pieces of this, couple of pieces of that type of armor, so you get benefits like more regeneration of mana, heavy armor, you're more sturdy. But then I realized I just don't get enough from what I really need, because the way Elder Scrolls Online works it out, your armor specs, the more pieces of what certain type of armor you have, the better benefits you get from that armor. So as you can see, the dexterity increases my critical chances with physical attacks 2% per piece of medium armor equipped. So if I have 7, that's 17% crit. That's really good. So that applies for all the other passive skills for the armor skills. So I think I have just intimidating and persuasive will. Those are really good 2 skills for quest. I found it really useful. First, I was like, "Oh, skill point, that's expensive for this," but no, it's worth it. It's really good. I don't have anything in dues. Racial, high elf, yes, awesome. Spell charge, increase the magical recovery while in combat by 6%. You are a Templar. You're gonna pretty much a lot of classes gonna use mana. So extra mana doesn't hurt because you're healing, you're supportive healing. It's gonna require mana. More mana, higher spell power, and it applies to higher healing. I believe. Let me know if I'm wrong on that. But that's the more Magicka, basically 7%. Not just mean that I have more mana points, because the way the game works, it also means that I have a higher spell power. So my magic skills hit higher, hit better. So that's why this is really good. So in crafting, I think I just have woodworking, so I can make my own bow, and I can. And I also have the clothing, so I can make my medium armor. Which, as you see, I made a Dunmer style armor. It's I believe it looks really good on this character. So okay, so that's basically the skill build, right? So that's basic. Okay, you can have it, but how it comes into synergy? The whole purpose was for me to find a good synergy for a playstyle that I like playing. And in this game, crowd control is extremely powerful. So a range class with crowd control, it can be very effective. Now I have on my first bar, I set up single target skills. And I'm going to be using it in scenarios when I have 1 target or 2 targets and I have to focus on those folks. On my second bar, I set up area of effect skills, so I can rapidly go back and forth. If we are in a dungeon and we are pulling a group, I have skills that do area of effect damage. So this is gonna snare them and just do a cone area of effect. This is also gonna do a cone area of effect type of skill. This is gonna be the arrow barrage. It's gonna do a whole bunch of barrage on top of these. So my reflective light, I choose the morphing that's gonna hit multiple targets. It's useful for basically the single target and AOE targeting bar just fine. Still does a really decent amount of damage. And the beautiful thing about it is, I'm gonna get you go ahead and go to the attributes and show you guys. I have 11 on stamina, 9 on magic. I just have 4 on health. I found out that if I just do destruction stuff, which high elf do get a bonus for that, but then my only resource to do damage is my magicka. If I run out of magicka, then I cannot do damage, right? I can use that auto attack on the staff, but it's just not cutting it. So to me, a good synergy was that I have certain attacks based on my stamina, like the bow attacks, and I have attacks that are based on my Magicka. So when I run out of Magicka, I can use more stamina-based attacks and while my Magicka recharging. So I can go back and forth, kind of dance between the two type of resource that you have for your character to do damage. So that is basically the synergy that I was able to find in there. So let me talk about a little bit of skills and let's see. So on the single target one, once you open up, actually, let's go ahead and show it in a battle. I'm gonna go ahead and pause here and find a decent area where we have some challenging fights and go ahead and demonstrate it to you guys. Okay, be back in a little bit.